Anyway, I applied to this EB Games because I liked the previous manager and I liked some of the people that worked there. Considering it was very close to my home at the time, I was in there quite a lot, because the closest EB Games besides that one was another roughly 15 miles away at the University Square Mall, which is referred to as the Ghetto Mall now. It's kind of a place that needs to be torn down. It is down to, I believe, one anchor store. But that EB Games was the one I had always shopped at for many years when I was a kid. I think going as far back as the early 90s. I can't remember what it was in the 80s, but there was only one game store that was always in... Well, no, there was more than that. There was an electronics store that sold TurboGrafx and sound equipment and PC games. It was right next to the Camelot Music. Anyone that still remembers what University Square Mall was like before it became total trash. Yes, there was a store right at the corner, which is... Well, I haven't been to University Square Mall for years, but it turned into a really crappy, generic, Oriental/Asian furniture place. You know, it's like, hey, do you want a coffee table shaped like a giraffe? It's that kind of store. But yeah, the EB Games was kind of the staple. It was an electronics boutique, then got rebranded to EB Games, and then became GameStop. So, I decided to work part-time at the one by my house, because I was a regular customer. I was heavy into PC and console gaming at the time, so I figured, why not? I mean, I hadn't worked in retail for about 4 years, but it's selling games, so how difficult can it be? The manager, like I said, did not like me for whatever reason. And he let it show because he started out by saying, well, even though... Really? What are you staring at, lady? Sorry, the only quiet space I have, because Delia's sick and Michelle is sick, the only place I can really get any quiet without disturbing anyone is in my car, and some woman was just staring at me. That's what I hate about this place that I live in. People just glare at you, and they even look through your windows as they pass by. It's really creepy. So, on to the subject at hand. He didn't like me, and I told him, listen, I can work Monday through Friday from 6 to close and beyond into close into whatever wee hours in the morning. But on the weekends, I need to be free because I travel from here to close to Daytona every weekend. At that time, I was in a pretty serious relationship with a woman that had just moved back over there when she had left college. So the only way I could see her was to travel all the way to the other side of the state, and I needed to do that every week if I wanted to make this relationship work. So initially, during the interview process, he agreed to that. When he handed me my first schedule, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I looked at him, I said, you know I'm not coming in, right? And he's like, well, you need to stop being such a prick. Like, I told you... Dude, it's even on my application. I can work these days, and here's the specific reason, even though it was none of your damn business. Why? Here's the reason why I'm never going to be in Tampa as long as I'm in a relationship with this person. So, he was under the assumption that I was going to work, even though I told him that ain't going to happen. So, my first 2 days there, he had me stock and alphabetize PS1 games. Which at that time, it was around the time when PS1 was becoming kind of just like the last ditch effort to try to sell some stuff. You would get like maybe $1 or $2 for most PS1 games at EB at that time. It consisted of a very small like end cap of games. Either way, alphabetizing, being a very organized person and very, very much a stickler for alphabetizing stuff that I am, I had it done within an hour. All 150 games that were condensed onto this little end cap. At the end of the night, the manager walks over and says, "Did you alphabetize these? Did you not just stick them up on the shelf?" I said, "No, I took them all down. I stacked them all up. I ignored all the customers as per your request, and I alphabetized each one." He proceeded to look through every single damn title on all, I think it was 6 or 7 shelves on this end cap of PS1 games, and made sure that they were all alphabetized. That's the kind of guy I was working for. A guy that, during my very short tenure at this EB Games, refused to even train me on the cash register, even though I started during the holiday season 1 week before Black Friday. So, on to the title at hand that probably caught your eye and why you are actually watching this video. I was frisked at that very same EB Games. At the end of the night, I went to the back and I grabbed my sports coat, which is pretty much what I would wear when I went into my regular job during the day. I didn't change clothes. I would just take the sports coat off and I would have my dress shirt on and my slacks. So, within my sports coat was my Palm Pilot, my Nextel push-to-talk radio phone, because I worked in the construction industry at the time, and it was normal to have that kind of Nextel to talk back and forth with the crews out on sites. My wallet. I think I had my handkerchief, because back then I was really heavy, so I would sweat profusely. I would always need a handkerchief or a bandana. And I think that was it. So I walk out. I guess no one else had anything in the back to grab. So I walk out and I see the other 3 employees standing by the door in a line with the manager in front of them. And so I'm watching him pat down the employees. And there were 2 male employees and 1 female employee, and then there was myself, not standing in line, just standing at the back of the store by the back door looking, going, what the fuck is going on? So he is patting them down, actually physically patting them down. Not just a, hey, turn out your pockets to make sure you didn't steal a Nokia N-Gage. No, he was patting them down. So I get up into the line after realizing what's going on. He goes to put his hands on me, and I step back and say, you're not touching me. At all. Period. You are not laying your hands on me. He says, well, I need you to empty out your coat. I said, that's fine, as long as you don't touch me. That's crossing a line. I flip out all the pockets that are reversible on my person. He looks at my Palm Pilot. It was one of those that slid up, had the keyboard, and had a very basic camera on it. It was one of the higher end Palm Pilots of like 2002. What's this? It's my Palm Pilot. Where'd you get it? I brought it in with me. Well, I think you got it from the back. Like, I did. It was in my coat. Do you seriously want me to power this thing on and go through all my contacts and show you all the pictures of my then at time girlfriend? A lot of them were of her naked. I mean, EB Games never sold Palm Pilots. I mean, even now that it's GameStop and they've gotten into the market of consumer electronics like phones and tablets, iPads, and smartwatches, they never carried any Palm devices. So, yeah, I said no, it's mine. I put it back in my pocket. He looks at a bulge that's in my front breast pocket where my Nextel phone was. He says, what's that? It's my Nextel phone. It's like, I need you to empty out your back pocket. It's like, dude, really? What am I going to steal? You know this is a second job for me. And then he put his hands on me. And then he started patting down my sides. The sides of my coat. And I stepped back and said, don't you ever fucking touch me again. And the other employees are just glaring like, he has no right to search you. He has no reasonable cause to search you. Do people not understand your rights? Unless you sign something, which I remember nothing in the application or any documents I signed to work at GameStop that says that the manager or whoever is in charge of the store at that time has a right to search your person. Now, you can look on websites like, let's see what it is here. Workplacefairness.org. Under the law, all employees have a reasonable expectation of privacy, which prevents employers from searching employees whenever or wherever and whenever the employer wishes. Considering there may have been loss at the store, I mean, there may have been shrink or whatever they call it, but you have to have a cause, or you have to have some kind of reasonable explanation for patting down employees, male and female, at the end of the day. Now, obviously, he's not reviewing security tapes because he's out there on the floor with all these employees during the day. But yeah, so EB Games, or that EB Games store and that manager in particular, were most likely breaking the law. Not only that, the male manager putting his hands on a female employee is also very questionable, considering it's in front of other male employees. There's no other female in the store at this time to oversee that nothing strange is going on or nothing inappropriate is happening. So, yeah, that's that is when I got frisked at EB Games. Did not steal anything, though he did try to imply that the Palm Pilot I had was something that the store carried and I stole, which at that time, the only mobile device that they carried that had any sort of email capabilities was the N-Gage, which, as we all know, sold like crap. So yeah, I don't know if this practice is still in effect. Pardon me. A lot of the managers that I knew at that time, I don't think work at EB anymore, and I've kind of fallen out of touch with them. So I don't know if when the merger happened, if this is still something that was going on, or if it was a standard practice, if it was carried over from GameStop management or by GameStop management when they acquired all of EB Games. I don't even know how many people in corporate actually kept their jobs when that merger happened in 2005. Regardless, this manager did not stay at that EB Games very long. The rumors that I heard from my friends that manage stores in the southern parts of the county said that he was fired because of embezzling, which, as I said, is a rumor, and I've got nothing to back that up. But what exactly would you embezzle? They may have meant that he was taking stuff, that he was taking money from the cash register, or he was taking product, which could explain why he was so adamant to pat down employees to try to take the heat off himself by making it look like he was doing everything possible to make sure that there was no shrink going on. Which I've actually heard similar stories from people that work in retail where there is a very overzealous manager that always seems to find something that you're doing wrong. Like, oh, there's a couple dollars missing from your till, you must be taking it. And then there's actually a criminal investigation goes on, finds out the manager is the one that's been stealing all the money or stealing the product. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. I can't even remember this manager's name who worked at this EB Games at the time. May have been Patrick or something like it. It was some name that you would associate with a douchebag. So it could be Derek or Patrick or I don't know, Fred, Tim, Sam. I don't know. I'm just throwing out names there that I associate with people I don't